when we needed to have online classes. Many of them did not have mobile phones to use. So what we did was we reached out to the alumni and we said, if you have any old phones, please give them to us so that we can give them to our kids. And the batch of 72 says, how many do you need? So we said we want X number. And the next day, there were all the full number of brand new phones were given to the school, which we then handed out to the children.
And welcome to the Enlightened Classroom with Surashree. I am extremely happy and I'm looking forward to having this discussion with you because just as we began our conversation, I felt automatically that I have been your student in my school life and I have that love and respect and even that little bit of fear, that we had towards our teacher for you as well. So without, further wait, I'm going to start this conversation by introducing you, ma'am. So today we have Mrs. Kavita Chatterjee Das, who superannuated as the principal of St. John's High School, Chandigarh, and is now running her own consultancy that deals with implementing the NEP and improving education at the school level. She was ranked among the top 8 principals of India during her tenure, and during her departure, her school was ranked number 1 in the country. She is the proud holder of numerous national and international awards, the most recent of which was the UT Chandigarh State Award for her contribution to education. She is also a recipient of the prestigious International Exceptional Woman of Excellence Award by the Women Economic Forum. She has been on the advisory board to schools in Australia, working with them to plan their direction for the future. She was a member of the State Advisory Council for Education to the Government of UT Chandigarh. She was also a member of the core committee for finalization of a comprehensive policy for providing education to children with disabilities by the UT Chandigarh and is currently a member of the executive committee of the international organization, the GIEN, which stands for Global Inclusive Education Network. So, welcome on the podcast, ma'am. We are extremely happy to have you here today. And ma'am, we were just talking that you are an extremely passionate nurturer, a teacher, a professional, and how your family has supported you in this entire journey. So we would like to start this conversation by knowing your journey as a teacher through your life as a principal, and how your environment has supported you in this journey.
Well, I was very fortunate to always work with one organization, which is called the Congregation of Christian Brothers of India. And I started working in Delhi at St. Columbus School. I got married into Chandigarh. So sailed with my husband, he was in the Merchant Navy. And then when we settled down, I approached St. John's because that's the sister school of St. Columbus. And I was fortunate that they took me in. So I was with them ever since. And about a few years into my tenure, they, for some wisdom of their own, made me the principal of St. John's. They appointed me as, and I was there for 16 years as the principal. And I retired last year.
Amazing. And ma'am, after your retirement as well, you have been working so closely with education institution. And what our podcast also wants to amplify and wants to enhance is the effect that your alumni can have on your education institution, may it be your school or your college, and the help that you can provide to the alumni community, and the alumni community can provide to the current students as well as the institution. So, could you give us some idea about the challenges that you have faced as the leader of an education institute while engaging with alumni, newer alumni, as well as older alumni?
I'd start by saying you first have to get to know who are your alumni, you know, because especially schools which, like St. John's, are more than half a century old. So their alumni goes way back when. And getting to know who are the alumni was my first challenge. We were very lucky in that we already have a very strong alumni called St. John's Old Boys Association. They're known as SAJOBA. So that entity was very helpful in helping us to get the data together. We kind of partnered with them, used our records, used their records, and were able to compile a pretty comprehensive list. That was the first step towards identifying and getting to know who our alumni are. Now, the next was, of course, reaching out to them. They're all over the world, and not all of them accessible, some of them. But I think if you want your alumni to respond to you, you have to be an institution that commands respect. Everybody wants to be associated with something that would enhance their image and would also be, they would be proud to belong to. So we worked hard at making the school a very reputable school. It has always been, very well ranked and very recognized. That has been a huge asset because it made our boys very happy to come on board with us. We didn't have that hesitation that new schools would have, that the school is not known. Do I want to be partnered with it? Do I want to be known as an alumnus of this school? They all wanted to be known as Johnians. So getting them to agree to come and have a relationship with us was so much easier for us because we already had this pretty formidable reputation as a school. But getting them to come in to find time in their busy schedules, especially the more senior they are, the more difficult it is for them to make time. So getting them to agree to that, you have to kind of pursue it and be willing to accept a no or a yes. You can't let your ego get in the way. And if you're willing to reach out, the alumni are more than willing to meet you halfway. So yes, it is challenging. It is being able to meet them on the same wavelength as they are, to be able to change with the times, and so that the younger generation can also respond to you with the equal amount of enthusiasm that the previous generations would want to do. But that is something that SAJOBA has done very well. They have created not only a lateral relationship, but a horizontal relationship, but also a vertical relationship by having many programs which engage both the seniors as well as the juniors. And so, because they themselves are a close-knit family, it became easier for us to engage with the alumni. So, a lot of positives which we were able to use in our quest to bring our alumni close to the school and to have a happy working relationship with them.
Amazing, amazing. So I think, it all falls at that initial cultural aspect of the kind of culture that the education institution is bringing in with the current students, with the alumni. And ma'am, as you said that the school has alumni, who are older than 60, 70 right now. And then, of course, there are the younger alumni which have just gone for their colleges and for their further education. So managing both these age groups is a very different thing. And of course, the records that would be maintained would be a very formal, would be a very paper-based kind of record initially, turning into a digital record. So how did you manage that entire transition?
Well, it was thanks to the old boys. They engaged somebody to help them to actually digitize everything. We provided them with the information which was with us, as you said, on paper, and they then translated it into the digital format and used their own connections to get all the addresses and the latest telephone numbers and of everybody. So they used their network. And thanks to that, we were able to, first provide them with a list of students, and they did the legwork, and we were able to compile a very comprehensive data about our students, past and present.
Great. I think there would be so many schools out there, who have this same question, which is how do you make sure that the data which is there in hard copies and which is there on a paper kind of a documentation, that data is then carried forward and that data is not missed out. And ma'am, then you also talked about so many programs that are there that are going through different batches, that are going through, different age groups as well. So, what kind of programs do you have for the alumni, as well as are there any programs which encourage the current students to interact with the alumni and the alumni to interact with the current students?
Oh, yes, loads of programs. We have a lot of them. Um, you know, every Silver Jubilee batch comes in and they connect with the school. And we have this wonderful tradition where the old boys and especially the Silver Jubilee batches will present the school with something. So they have to come together, they have to figure out their budgets, they have to come to the school, they have to find out what the school need. So you can imagine the engagement that is going on between the alumni and the school. And then they come and they have this lovely, day which they spend in school. So school opens its doors to them. They go to their classrooms and they sit. They bring in their old teachers to teach them.
Wow.
So there's this great feeling of being part of the school, connecting with your old teachers. Keeping in touch with the old teachers is also important if you want to have a connect with your alumni. So the old teachers come in, all the retired ones, and they come and they teach these boys whom they had taught when they were little ones. It's a great feeling. And they bring their families in. So the families get to see the school, the families get to meet their old teachers, the families get to see where did their father grow up or their husband grow up. And that kind of engagement is amazing. It builds such a huge connect with the school. And then there are others. For example, we have a mentoring program, right? So for our senior secondary, and our old boys come in, they see, we find out what are the avenues that our boys want to explore in terms of their careers. And having brought it down to about 6 or 7 careers, we then go to alumni and say, do you have professionals in this who can come and talk to our boys? And of course, they always have because they're all over the place. So they come in on a regular basis and they kind of take these boys under their wings and they will engage with them, they will talk to them, they will tell them what are the problems in their in this career, how will you overcome it, especially ethical issues, how will you deal with. So the boys then have a mentor whom, even when they leave school, stays connected with them. And they can always go to him in case they have any issues with their career that they need advice on. So this is a great way that the alumni contribute to our relationships with our current, students at the moment, who then themselves go on to become alumni, of course. But it's a wonderful relationship that is created over there, which lasts a lifetime. Boys who more than 15 years ago have been mentored are still in touch with their mentors. So, there are lifelong friendships built through this, even though there's a huge age gap, but it doesn't change anything. And then we have a lot of programs, kite flying, for example, our class fives during, Baisakhi, we have the kite flying. So they come in and they do kite flying with our the class five. And it's great fun watching them run up and down the field, trying to get those kites into the air. The little ones so thrilled about it. Now the age gap is huge, but they all become children on that field and they're reliving their days. Our little ones are enjoying having their seniors around to take care of them and pamper them, because one thing the old boys do is they always feed the boys. So every batch who's got anything to do with, the alumni is looking forward to the treat that's going to follow. So they always say the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. It's quite true. So the kids really look forward to that. And the generosity of the alumni is something that one appreciates tremendously. It's never been a time when we have approached the alumni and said we need help that they have ever refused. So that also. Now, when you do something for the school, automatically now you are invested in the school as well, right? Quite literally invested in the school. So now you come back and you're trying to see, I planted this tree. So we have tree planting in the school. We have it for the alumni, but we also have it for the children. When they graduate and they come back, they're looking at the tree and saying, I planted it when I was knee high to a grasshopper, and now I can stand under its shade and bring my family under its shade. So these little things help you to have a connect. Before our children, our senior secondary graduates, they also present the school with something or the other, right? So that when they come back, they have something to look at. For example, the benches given by one batch. So they come back and they sit on the benches and say, we gave the school these benches. So can you see how their relationship with the school gets deepened every time that they do something for the school and the school reaches out to them? The school also is very particular about making sure that the old boys have access to the school. So no matter what time of the day or night they come, they're always welcome in school. We keep our facilities open for certain periods of time every day where the boys can come and the old boys use those facilities on a regular basis. So it's like having an exclusive club to yourself, right? You come here and you can use it and only Sajoba can use it after they've shown their cards at the gate. Now again, they have that feeling of, yes, this is my school. I have access to it. I can use the playing fields. I can use the basketball court and the squash court and the tennis courts and whatever, infrastructure we have, they are welcome to use. So this again helps us a lot with our old boys. I think what has also helped is maybe my long tenure um, because of that, I was able to build a very strong relationship with our alumni. It was like a fixture over there whom they could come back to. So they had a great relationship, and I was very blessed that they took to me, and I was able to have a good relationship with them. So all this, and yes, they have very big programs. For example, they run a rally every year, a car rally, right? They also have two-wheelers and everything. Now, this rally lasts about 3 days, and they use the school premises to actually run the rally from. So the school makes its infrastructure available to the old boys whenever they require it. That is very important because you can't keep taking without also giving. It has to be a quid pro quo. It has to be a give and take. That is really important in building relationships. So they know that when we need help, the school is there for us also. And if we need to use facilities, if we need to do something, their treasure hunt they run from school, many events that they run from school. They have all their competitions, their Sajoba competitions in school. So they will use all the infrastructure to have it, whether it's a badminton competition, the night cricket, the football, whatever they want. They will come and they will use the facilities. Of course, it's all carefully planned, so it doesn't interfere with the school's programs. They're very particular about that. So you have to also be sensitive. Both sides have to be sensitive about not making the other feel that one is encroaching, but that one is working together to create a very happy environment for both sides. All this takes a lot of work, but it's happy work. It's very pleasant to interact with your alumni. You feel so proud when they come and you invite them as chief guests. You invite them as judges. You invite them to come and talk to your kids for the vocational program. You run for the children to tell them what are the careers they can look at. All is run by our old boys. So they are a real blessing to the school, and they definitely are always available to us. So small things also help. We have authors. So what we did was in the library, we set up a special shelf for our authors in the library, and all their books are bound in leather with gold embossing. Now, it's a small thing, but when an alumnus comes back and he sees his book on that shelf, which is dedicated to Sajoba, and he sees, it's been leather bound and gold embossed, he feels happy that the school has recognized him. So recognition is very important. We make sure that we always thank them properly. Anyone who has really helped the school, we make sure that we bring them in the assemblies. We thank them publicly and acknowledge them publicly for what they have done. If they have, achieved something, we make sure that the boys know about it and that they are like celebrities when they come to the school. And they're superstars when they come to the school. It doesn't feel great when a whole bunch of 1,000 adoring boys are looking at you, right? So, yeah, these are the different ways in which we help to build relationships with our alumni.
Of course, I think it is extremely beautiful, the way you conduct this entire alumni engagement and the way the alumni engages with the institution, with the current students, with even the infrastructure, right? The kind of responsibility that they would feel while accessing the campus, maybe after hours, or while coming to the assembly and interacting with the students of every age into the school, and the kind of questions that they must be getting there. It would be extremely rewarding. I can completely understand that. So, ma'am, now we have talked about a lot of aspects when the alumni are coming to the campus or they are coming together in person, having the reunions, having the car rallies, so on and so forth. But of course, a lot of your alumni would be staying abroad in different countries or even in faraway cities. And it would not be very easy for them to come back to the institution physically, especially when there are events, especially when there are reunions. So, how do you make sure that these alumni are also engaged with the institution?
Well, God bless social media and things like Zoom, on which we are. So we do have Zoom meetings with our alumni, and in fact, we use it also to engage with our schools which are abroad, because the Congregation of Christian Brothers has about 300 to 400 schools worldwide. So we are able to reach out very easily to our people who are abroad as well. And in fact, it's been such a blessing. I remember one time when one of our kids had gone to Australia, and he lost everything he had, and somehow he contacted the school. So he said, I'm in Australia. I don't have anything except my passport. I don't know what to do. And we called up an old boy who was in Australia, and we told him, we said, we have this kid who's, now he's our alumni. He's gone there to college, but can you help him out? That boy drove 3 states. He picked up this child, brought him home, took care of him, bought his ticket, and sent him home. So, that is the kind of commitment that they have to their school. And we were able to reach out to him in Australia because of social media, as well as, of course, mobiles and this and that. We also try to document what we do, and we make little videos and we send them out to our alumni so that they know what's going on in the school. They don't necessarily have to go to the website every time. We actively reach out to them and send them stuff so that when they open their Insta or they open their WhatsApp, they can see what's going. Oh, there's a video from school. Let me see what happened over there. And then, of course, we can bring them in virtually as guest speakers, as judges. So there's n number of ways you can engage with your alumni, even if they are not in the city itself. And that has really helped us to reach out and have a great connect with them.
Amazing. I feel that, it is like a very close-knit family which is staying across the globe. And then whenever a family member needs the other member, then, everybody just comes running to help them. So that's amazing. And ma'am, you said that your alumni they donate benches to the school, and they help out the students that need some help. They help out the alumni who are in different countries if they are stuck with something. So can you maybe tell us a couple of more success stories in terms of how alumni have helped your school? Maybe in a situation where you needed certain monetary help, or in a situation where the school or the authorities felt stuck in something and an alumni came up for the help. So, a couple of more success stories from your end.
Well, ours is a mission school. So we have about 300 children from the economically weaker section who are very much a part of the school and fully integrated into the school. However, they do have financial challenges. So, for example, during COVID, when we needed to have online classes, many of them did not have mobile phones to use. So what we did was we reached out to the alumni and we said, if you have any old phones, please give them to us so that we can give them to our kids. And the batch of 72 says, how many do you need? So we said, we want X number. And the next day, there were all the full number of brand new phones were given to the school, which we then handed out to the children. And so every single EWS child was online with us throughout when we had online classes. So that was, a way that they are very sensitive to the needs, especially of our EWS children, and are very kind whenever we ask them for any kind of help. Um, we need scholarships for them. We need support for them for their further studies. We never have a problem getting it because our old boys just step forward and say, "I'll pick up this project. I'll pick up that project. I'll pick up this kid, and I'll see him through. I will, watch." We have a sponsorship program, so they can sponsor children while they're in school as well, and then they build a relationship with the child. So it's a wonderful way of their connecting. We also have one ex-alumni of ours, Mr. Sandeep Goyal. He came and he gave us a corpus of 1 crore, right? And he says now he's in advertising. So he said, I want you to use it to build the image of the school. So we decided, okay, we're going to have an international debating competition. So with the proceeds from that 1 crore that comes to us, what we do is we have a 3-day program in which we invite the top schools of India as well as schools who come from abroad. And the minute they set foot in the city, we take care of everything for them. Now, all this is thanks to the sponsorship and this corpus that Mr. Goel has given us. And we are able to have a really amazing program, which is top class, only thanks to the support we have for it. Right. Now, on the other hand, we have our EWS children. And so we have another gentleman who happens to be a director with Goldman and Sachs. So he came forward and he said, I want you to run a vocational program for these kids. And thanks to him, we were able to set up these brilliant, vocational labs, which now has become very much a part of the school. First, we began with our EWS children only. We moved on to our special kids being part of it, but now every child is part of it, right? So we've been able to really expand and move into vocational training thanks to the love and support of this alumnus who is such a blessing to us. So you see, we get both sides. And thanks to all this, and then, of course, we have alumni who will lend their name or their aura to the school. So, for example, we have brilliant hero Ayushman Khurana, who is our kid. And whenever we call him and we say, Ayushman, would you be able to come? He comes. And he's so kind about it. Now, having, a name like that attached to your school, Mr. Sibyl, Kapil Sibyl, Manish Tiwari, anybody, all our alumni, whenever we reach out to them and say, we have a program, would you be willing to come and would you be able to, do something? They never say no. So it's not only in cash, but also in kind that they contribute to the school in a very big way and help the school and enhance both the relationship with the children as well as the image of the school. And that is such a blessing.
Amazing. So I feel just like, the teachers and our faculty, they are a blessing to the current students. In a similar way, the alumni are also a blessing, to the school and to the current students. And I think everybody is working towards the advancement of the future generation, advancement of the students that are studying in schools, and everybody is really worried about their careers and their futures. And it is not just the responsibility then of the parent and the teacher, but then it is also the responsibility of the alumni, of the people that have gone through that journey before them and that have reached those heights, to come back and to guide and to mentor and to help everybody. And I think your alumni are doing that beautifully.
Oh, they're
So ma'am.
exceptional. They are really exceptional. I mean, we have this great program, which is, where every class is engaging with the community at some level. So one class will engage with the audio challenge. Another class will engage with the visually challenged. Some will begin with the mentally challenged. And then we also have our senior secondary, which engages with the transgender community. So the transgender community needed help, and Ayushman happened to reach out at that time and say, I want to help out. So he said, what does the community need? We said, we got back to the community. They said, we need a food van because we want to have the dignity of earning our own income. We don't want to be begging on the streets. And he just a month ago gave us this brilliant food van. And he came down personally to inaugurate it as well. So you see, they not only engage directly with the school, but they also reach out to the community through the school. And that kind of interaction which happens broadens and strengthens the school in its engagement with the community as well. So that's so helpful.
That is extremely helpful, and listening to your stories feel like I have gone back to that era, and now I am seeing the alumni and the super seniors coming and guiding us and giving us scholarships. So congratulations, ma'am, on building that culture and maintaining that culture throughout your tenure, and even continuing now within the school and within the institution. So thank you so much, ma'am, for being an amazing, amazing guest on our podcast. Are there any parting thoughts that you would want us to hear?
I think if you are a school that works with love and ethics and values, you can have an enduring relationship with people because you will command the respect of your children and the love of your children. And it is this respect and affection that brings them back because they value the institution that made them who they are today. So it is working in that direction as true educationists and realizing that education is not a profession, as I told you, it's a vocation. If you can communicate that to your kids, then you have children who will have a lasting relationship with you for their lifetime. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Ultimately, it's relationships that matter. It's not the money, it's not things, it's people. And if you can build that, then you're building a better world as well.
Yes, thank you
So
so
just
much,
work with
ma'am.
love and compassion.
All those pillars that you stand by, and all those pillars that I get to know from you whenever I listen to you on different forums at different stages and now on the podcast. Let me tell you, ma'am, I am also extremely inspired by the way you have conducted the entire procedure and conducted the entire alumni and student relationship building modules in your school. So, congratulations again, ma'am, on that. And thank you so much for being a part of today's podcast.
Thank you so much for having me on the podcast. I'm really honored to have been here. Thank you.